Okay, we're live. I didn't do this one yesterday. I didn't do it last week. I don't know. I didn't think I was ever going to end up with 11 episodes of this. The previous one I called, do men marry, trashy women and or easy women or women with huge body counts or whatever. And this one I think we're going to title "The Blind Leading the Stupid," although we don't usually have titles per se. I'm just reading revelations from actual Tinder employees or whatever. And so there was some other stuff, comments from Alexander Grace videos and things like hose bag versus fleshlight and that kind of stuff. I try not to get too much into those kind of descriptions and modern slang things that, maybe don't translate, or I don't know what gets censored, because I see here women using certain phrases in their videos constantly when it has nothing to do with relationships or intimacy or anything of the sort. What they call their cats or what they call their viewers or whatever. But in the other video just recently, there was a blonde woman who could have been this woman. If I didn't already know what Tinder gal looked like, I might have thought it was her because a lot of the verbiage was the same. And again, as he was saying in that video, she starts off saying how much this and this and this, and then immediately switches gears to how much men are just terrible and blah, blah, blah. So, when you start off with the women who hate men and then try to pretend that they don't, and then the men who ignore all their red flags, we'll get into that. So there was a bit where she said that in a certain profession or sub profession or whatever, 7 out of 10 of the men that she dated had cheated on her. So, okay, why didn't you marry one of the other 3 then? Or were they running for the hills and glad to be away from you for other reasons? We don't know. Never gives us that information, just, the bait and switch, But it must have been the men's fault that, it couldn't have been her bad taste that led her to this position, So someone had posted a thing. So, another thing is these are all not quite in chronological order. So a lot of times it gets redundant. So if you're new here, welcome. Sorry. If you're not new here, then you've already heard some of this, although I haven't had like a ton of viewers. So yeah, I apologize in advance. We do have less pages, I think, to get through this time. It wasn't totally scrolling all the way down in advance because I still had stuff from a different document that I never read, and maybe never will. I don't know if I'll go back and get to that eventually ever. And of course, there was something else recently. Kind of, there was multiple issues going on because one was kind of the weight gain issue, one was kind of the bipolar issue. These were tangential, but I touched on them. And then, of course, politics. And so I'm leaving politics out of this as much as possible. But of course, these people, all pretty much vote the same way. Gutfeld talks about this every single day, so I don't really feel the need to, extrapolate too far on it. But, how can you take these people seriously politically when you can't take them seriously, in other facets of their individual personal lives or whatever, however they run their life that they think is so great until they posting about how terrible this and this and this and this. Again, Alexander Grace covers this every single week too. So I don't try not to just, restate everything that's kind of been stated there, even though there's a lot of overlap. Like I said, some of these people could be clones at this point. and you know, it's, I don't know, Satan rewards his servants is, you know, kind of the you know, because they're in entertainment, they're in academia, they're in these, you know, high valued, high paid professions a lot of times. Although increasingly, I guess we're learning that less of them are, because they didn't major in STEM, so they're not getting the good jobs, and Hollywood is finally losing enough money that they're, you know, throwing some of these people away, hopefully, or they just refused to give the one gal a raise on The View, but she's the least controversial one, so, you know, why they even have her on there, I don't know, but except she's the, you know, kind of pretty one. So this one's celebrate, you know, their community theater nonsense and whatnot, and taking insults as compliments, you know, because they like negative attention and this and that. But trying not to go too much into that. But so this one had said, let's see. Oh yeah, those other three. Yeah, were they the ones that you called the incels, or why? You know, why did that not last? Because typically, apparently, she's a hypocrite and just goes for chads, same as all the other ones, then pretends not. Forget what the other. I don't know. I can't find it. But so someone had posted. She likes getting into arguments with people that don't care mostly what she has to say, but sometimes they kind of think they agree with her because they don't read it critically enough or whatever. So like I said, this is out of order. So I don't know where the other bit is. So I'm just going to have to start at the top and get through this as much as possible. Anyway, it's more of the same kind of thing. So this one, you know, decries all the bad relationships, but insists. They say women go after the men. Maybe it's partially true. We try to go after the onces with an apostrophe with decency. Again, obviously you don't, or you wouldn't have dated 7 guys who all cheated on you or something. And again, what made you think they were decent or whatever, and what makes you think that they represent the majority of men? Once again, back to that argument of how much this, from episode 4 or 5, I forget which, you know, now, how much you actually literally don't like men. So yeah, meanwhile, she has basically no decency, because we'll see that in these responses in a minute. Because again, if you've been with 10 men, that's already well over the national average for what a body count of a healthy woman of your age should be. It should be, you know, like, well, when I was young, with divorce rates what they were, the average body count for women seemed to be about 2 or 3 in a lifetime, not 20 or 30 in a decade. So we'll just start there. And, you know, we've, like I said, we've covered that, but her, I don't know. There was some, oh, here was the source that set her off, was P3 from a different country, not from the United States, and even says this. So I guess don't move there if you're looking for a man, if you plan to, you know, get sick. I told a guy that 70% of women that suffer from breast cancer are abandoned by their male partners. He replied that we women would simply, oh, I'm sorry, this is a woman supposedly posting this. We women would simply have to pick a guy that fits the 30%. To him, the problem totally is not the guys abandoning their wives at one of the most brutal moments that a woman can go through. Again, this is not happening in America that I'm hearing about ever. Okay, so we have actual health care here for women, and they don't usually find breast cancer fatal. Out of all the cancers you can get, that's one of the most treatable ones if it's detected. Even I know that, and I don't, you know, worry about it that much. The problem is she is not picking the guy wisely. I swear to you, men are completely allergic to accountability. And then in another part, PSN. So again, back to the vilifying men, or whatever. Okay. Because yeah, we could get into female accountability over and over and over, and if I went through other video comments, not this video, that probably won't get any comments, but whatever. P3 then goes on to say, hey guys, statistics are from my country. Not everyone is American. English is my fourth language, so please excuse any mistakes. Of course, I don't know if any of that's true or not, but if you are a male and feel the urge to defend men or questioning if I am telling the truth, maybe this place is not for you. This place meaning your opinion site. I don't know. Regardless of what I say, you won't be satisfied. Keep scrolling and have the day you deserve. So again, okay. I guess you got dumped and you're angry about it. I don't know how to get through all that, but yeah, okay. So you can't stand any criticism or even any nice guys defending themselves. Hey, my wife had breast cancer for 4 years and I'm still here, or whatever. The counter to that could be, as if no man has ever known any woman. Okay, whatever. Like I said, too much to unpack all this kind of stuff. So then someone else, Sloppy, comes in and says, they had posted a meme. They're calling the gender war fake. Well, I don't know who invented it, but it probably wasn't, watch out, boys. So I guess immature men need to fear this person. So it was a meme about unhappy single women being a growing trend of hate being fed by, I guess, a growing trend of hating men, which they, again, do and then deny. So it's like, okay, well, don't post stuff about, you're coming for the boys and then pretend that you love men, because clearly if you had one, you probably wouldn't be posting this at all. Let's see if I can find this meme. I had 2 of them. So I got to scroll again. I know I should be better prepared before I do these, but since the viewership is pretty low, I don't really bother. Where is this thing? It should be right here. Here's one of them. Okay. That's the wrong one. So trending now. Growing trend of hating men seems to backfire as anti-marriage movement leaves single women losing out. Yeah, exactly, which is why they're posting their TikTok videos. Oh, and I forgot to say earlier that when we were saying, the way they vote, that's also, what we can expect from these companies that seem to be basically committing consumer fraud is the whole reason we're exploring this. But we get these weird posts and interaction. And so then Tinder gal says, growing trend of women expecting kindness and honesty leaves no men left to marry. There, I fixed it. Well, again, if you want to be single, nobody's stopping you. You already have a body count of 35 or whatever it is that's going to keep most religious men away, or whatever, conservative or traditional or whatever. So just wear that on your nameplate on your chest or something if you're that proud of it. Or are you going to be honest about that when you meet the one and tell him, oh, by the way, half of Los Angeles is in my roster? You may want to mention that. And as far as kindness goes, I think we'll see enough more responses where we can question how kind this actual woman is. That, again, Satan rewards their servants, I guess. So Corey says, respectfully, if it was just kindness and honesty, a lot more short dudes with 9-to-5 jobs would be happily married. Yeah, while she chases billionaire Chad, who still hasn't showed up to whisk her off her feet, but, maybe someday soon. I would say leave off the respect part. These are liars. These are hypocrites. These are 304s for the most part. They are gold diggers. We'll get into that in a minute too. They just shifted their demographic because they don't want to be with older men now if they can get away with it. If they can find a younger guy who's won the lottery, that is exactly what they will take. And then they'll complain about how immature he is and what a boy he is and da-da-da-da-da, and blame all men for the Chad that they thought was going to make their life wonderful because he's an ATM who, you know, lives in La La Land along with them. So yeah, again, also has 10 guys in her chosen field at least, countless others. Again, at least twice the national average, and you know all that. Okay. So then on the same day earlier, had posted, people are having fewer kids and they love to blame women for being picky and educated. That's not the exact argument. Nice gaslighting again. Go back to more Alex Grace videos. Meanwhile, dating in LA, 9 out of 10 men don't want marriage or kids. So why is this our fault? Well, again, probably a lot of those men are already married. You're older than the typical married age. So there are those guys who wanted that marriage and found someone who wasn't insane and slutty and all the other workaholic and alcoholic and dope smoking issues that you bring to the table. Again, all those red flags that maybe the next simp will ignore, but you won't respect him, and he probably won't have won the lottery, so he won't earn enough. We're not going to go into that whole argument again now. So yeah, if you want, you know, loser libtards or the chads that you pursue that are disappointing you over and over and over, I don't know, maybe you should look at some other kinds of men who might still reject you. Yeah, because the smart ones, the sane ones, they already have a family at your age. You're not 23. So then Charles says, well, where you messed up was assuming men would hold themselves accountable for checks, notes, anything. So again, with the men are the ones who are not accountable. Okay, well, no, it's just the men that you pick are not accountable. She hearts this, of course, because tell her what she wants to hear. He's obviously probably just trying to get a date, not marry her. So she, again, gaslighting and trying to flip the script only, says, literally. Oh, literally? Really? Okay, well, I think we can check the record and see that that's not accurate. So she doesn't want to take accountability for why she's still single and why people might consider her a loser or a spinster, along with being a liar and a hypocrite, and says she wants kids, but she's the most bipolar thing that should never have children anyway. So that's probably just as well. But yeah, her crappy taste in men is all men's fault. Again, predictable. Like I said, it could have been the exact same blonde chick from the other video. Just predictable, same stuff. But so then Brack comes in and says, this is not a bad thing. There are too many people in this world with not enough opportunities. So again, this gal has plenty of opportunities. She has this overpaid job at this horrible company, but she hearts this dog shit as well. So, okay, don't breed then, either of you. Good, maybe go jump off the building or something. I don't know. If you're that fatalistic and believe that society is that doomed and yada, yada, yada. So then this I was going to ignore at first, but then I realized it's the same person from the next argument part. So Farah says no. And so I think this was his first comment, and then he came in, and then he had posted this other thing right after. But first, this other comment, Beth, she hearted this one also because, again, yeah. Also, does no one else remember the phase when us ladies really wanted to commit and get married and have a family and were literally coached on how to not be too needy and act like we didn't care about commitment because the men were too scared? So mission accomplished, I guess. Again, there are ways to go about things without seeming desperate, Because I've been told as a man that I can be too needy and too desperate if I talk to a woman or act like I like a woman or to look twice at a woman at a bar or this or that. You don't think that that same stuff didn't get hurled on both sides of the fence? So she, once again, her reply is exactly. Okay. So yeah, so just, yeah, go play the victim some more for your own bad choices. What else is new? Okay, fine. So then Beth says, honestly, sometimes I think my entire 20s was one big experiment in gaslighting. You mean like you're trying to do to men now? Okay, whatever. But I don't know who gaslighted you with this. I don't think it was men who told you that. I think it was other women giving you bad advice. So once again, the blind leading the stupid, which we'll get back into in a minute. And so again, Tinder gal hearts this because she feels like she was gaslighted too when she was the one who forced her marriage and forced all these other relationships and everything else. So then the separate comment, now Farah comes back in, spitting facts of reality, which she hates as always. So he says, that's LA. Nobody's blaming women for being educated. I like it when other people say words that are similar to words I would have had to make up. So this is better. Nobody's blaming women for being educated. We're blaming you for being so picky that no men exist within your parameters, or sorry, with your parameters. There's literally 2,300 men in the entire country that are 6'3" or over, make $150,000 a year, and and ages 22 to 42 that aren't married and aren't obese, of any race. 5 to 10% are probably gay, and some may be ugly or difficult, or simply won't like them, meaning won't like the women who like them, I guess. Most will live far away and never meet you. Yeah, because again, you have a whole computer. You don't have to meet somebody in LA, but I agree that it's preferable to try and meet someone in your postal code when possible. And again, that these dating apps that she's a big proponent of, even though she doesn't use the one that she works for the most, she likes a different one that still hasn't found her husband. So then he sent her a male and female standards catalog with some census data and And I don't know. I mean, it's another dating app, so I'm not going to endorse it either. It's the one place where I'm semi going to agree with her, I guess, although she uses plenty of other ones, as far as we can tell. So here's more of her winning personality, as I said. Again, put these people out of a job, I swear to God. She says, you came at me super aggressive just now. All he did was literally explain numbers. The only thing he said that was aggressive was, we're blaming you for being too picky. That was it, remember? And he was not saying he was personally necessarily attacking her. He was saying men who are single and in the dating pool are finding this as a legitimate actual problem, right? That was coming at her super hard. Okay. You came at me super aggressive just now. There's no way I'll ever try your product or service. Hey, I feel the same way about Tinder. So then she says, get effed, but she doesn't say effed. She writes it out because, again, classy to the end. Yeah, and if you work for this company and you're this oblivious or this complicit, you're a fraud too. And so, again, why we should look at this person as an accurate representation of an entire industry and not want anything much to do with either of them, apparently. And again, some chads and some simps will still go ahead and be ATMs for women like this and regret it maybe all the day long. But yeah, we already have plenty of evidence how she would pretty much reject any good guy who comes along after, just getting effed by chads constantly. 7 out of 10 chads like to use her and dump her, hump her and dump her, screw her and flee, whatever, Yeah, we know. Those are the guys who are mostly on the dating apps. So those are the guys you're still mostly meeting. Except you probably get a discount. And being a female, again, she still has this wider selection of men than the men have the selection, because there's way more men on the dating apps because they're all desperate, and still can't find a decent one. Well, what a shock. Okay. But yeah, look at her, with, yeah, obviously you can't see her, but on her talk videos and stuff, she, uses a filter in addition to her fake hair, her fake lips, her fake face with all the Botox or whatever. Maybe someday she'll meet a plastic surgeon and he'll, convince her she has an ugly nose and then stick some weird pointy thing on her head that doesn't fit her face at all, even worse than, what she's already working with. And her dirty pee, of course. Obviously, some guy like that will point out, if her breasts seem saggy or if her stummy's too fat, then, oh, you need the liposuction. All the Botox won't save your big butt, or whatever. But maybe she'll marry him and get discount surgeries that way. I don't know. I'm just going off on little tangents now because, again, she complains in other places how the women in LA all look fake and then brags about how she just got her Botox. So you're the same exact thing. You're hive mind more than you think you are. Okay, so glad JRS the next day says, oh, I'm glad I'm 1 out of 10. And this guy, I don't know if he's straight or not because he says he wants to be an actor and a director. Good luck with that, but has 0 followers. So obviously he's just trying to poach some of her contacts or whatever. Maybe trying to get a date. Nobody's stopping you. When you find out, again, her red flags or her work schedule or whatever, if you have half a brain, you'll be out the door like the other 7 guys. But yeah, if she's, dumb enough to ignore her roster and body count and all that, and find out what a narcissist this actually is and solipsistic and all that, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Gets redundant, like I said. Okay, so Hollywood. Yeah, but this guy, I mean, he has a chance. Hollywood's been shoving billion-dollar movie contracts into the hands of people who can't even direct a dog food commercial and flushing millions of dollars on these horrible movies nobody wants to pay to see. So maybe he has a chance. I haven't had much success, but I don't write, woke garbage for communists who don't buy movie tickets. So there's that. But she also thinks she's a director now too, even though she's done nothing. He likely knows less about film than I did at 15, but that doesn't, mean that some lame, stupid woke studio won't decide he's brilliant. Look at Supergirl. And then, of course, she was arguing that the only reason guys wouldn't go see Supergirl is because the girl wasn't Sydney Sweeney. Well, would anybody have gone to see the previous Supermans if it wasn't George Reeves or Christopher Reeves? Last time I checked, he was, 6'3" and hunky. I wish I, grew up to be more like Superman, and I'm not short by any means, but I'm certainly not going to get cast in that role, even if I could act, which I admit I can't. Although, I was going to wear a tank top and show the guns because they were joking on the program the other day about the guy, the sports guy got to be on General Hospital. So maybe I should go audition for a soap opera if I can, look macho enough. I don't know. I might be a bad actor, but doesn't mean I'm bad looking, right? So then this guy said, this was separate but same tangent or same topic, but a different post. DM said, what comes to mind, ladies? Don't call them ladies. They're women. They're not aristocracy, and they don't act like they have any class most of the time at all when they're telling you to go get effed and everything and getting dumped by 15 chads. What comes to mind, ladies, when you hear that the majority of you are competing for the same men? Well, of course, they're competing for the same men. Most of the time, not always. Again, we're going to allow outliers and but especially if you're on a dating app. We already know that only this many guys get matches. We've discussed this over and over in these videos, and then Tinder gal tries to pretend that those statistics aren't real. So, which is about to happen again. Spoiler. Do you even believe that there's men? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you believe there's merit to the so-called statistic? 80% of women are competing for the same 20% of men. That was the other meme. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Which literally that's all it says. I could have used that photo for my thumbnail because it's a guy getting kissed by two girls and he's laughing it up. And that's the whole meme. So she says, so again, oblivious or completely full of crap. She hearts his comment, though. I don't know why, or he hearts her comment. Actually, rather, sorry. He hearts her comment, and I don't know why. So Tinder gal says, not really. What happens on dating apps is unique to dating apps, and part of it is that most men don't put a lot of effort into their profiles. Again, this has been kind of debunked by the other guy from episode 4 or whatever it was. It doesn't even have to do with their attractiveness level. Yes, it does. It has to do with his wallet and his looks and his height. I know this because I work for a dating app. We know. Also, and then she pretends that she doesn't, or doesn't want to say which one, even though we pretty much know which one. Also, the app that gave this study is specifically OkCupid. Again, they're all following worse and worse. Matt Walsh covered this 2 months ago in his videos. Go watch that one. I already talked about that in the other episode. I keep meaning to email Tinder and see if I can get her fired, but I'm just lazy, I guess. Content that maybe somebody will watch hopefully one day. But yeah, again, the wallet is probably the primary motivator of many of these dating app gals. But they're serial dating app aficionados or whatever you want to call it, because they're always on more than one. Because, you couldn't just settle for the one guy who is decent on the one app. There might be a better one on the other app, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Sample them all. Try all 50 flavors. See how that works out when the next guy comes along who goes, so how many guys do you actually date at a time? And you say, 6 or 7. Okay, bye. So DM says, I appreciate your adding this insight. I don't agree that it's insight per se, but for lack of a better word. However, I have a different opinion that adds credence to it. I believe that the message is actually coded. It's not as much that women are competing for the same men. It's that women want the same traits and values in men, and only a small percentage of us have them, thus leaving men and women alike single. The irony is that, it's not what irony means, but okay. The irony is that the former is miserable and bitter while the latter is generally at peace. Well, we're not making as much TikTok videos. That's what you're talking about. But yes, she's a miserable shrew already for sure. She pretends otherwise, but we can tell she's a spinster, and we'll get into the whole 304 thing in a minute. But yeah, also add in, again, how easy that they are and other traits that good men don't want. The bipolar and the other 7 things from the What Makes a Woman a Loser video that I didn't watch the whole thing of the other week. But so I won't go into that too much. But yeah, also wants ATM and complains that all the men make less money, but then insists that it's not just because they want an ATM, even though it literally is. How much they hate men and, would want to get together with some crackpot loon, maybe another druggy alcoholic crackpot, and then also a narcissist, but insist that that's not what they're looking for. But the guy should be ignoring that behavior in them while they're looking for Mr. Squeaky Clean, because they want to party with the guy, but then they don't want to marry the guy that they party with. But that's his fault for being a toxic man or whatever. Once again, that's your bad taste. He's not going to change his behavior probably. So overpaid yuppie Karen offers nothing but dangling her dirty, like a carrot on a stick on a string. If you're really knowledgeable about the company's methods, then you are completely complicit in their corruption, because you can't really be that oblivious and keeps trying to just push everything off. Oh, no, that was a different app. Our app never does that. No, your app is probably worse. Because it was noted in the Matt Walsh video highlighted, I thought. I don't remember. So anyway, so earlier, I think the same day, there was a blocked post. Oh, this is going into the tangent all about the personality. So she had, I can't read the original post because apparently they blocked her. But she says, I don't know you, but this post has negative energy. You got to take a deep breath and focus on your own journey. So we haven't seen Tanya in a while. I don't know if this is from, Tanya or something else. But yeah, her lame journey that sucks according to, anyone with half a brain who's met her. But she keeps insisting that her journey is so great, even though she's single and all the guys keep cheating on her and dumping her and da-da-da-da-da. And none of them make enough money and da-da-da-da. Okay. So yeah, again, just attacking some random person for their negative energy. Right. That's more of her winning personality. So anyway, it keeps going. So someone had come in on a politics post a couple days before that, I guess, set her into this frame of mind where she's the enlightened one. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's more about politics. But they told her, STFU, mind your own business or whatever. And so Tinder Gal says, why are you commenting on my old post? Do you really have all the free time to scroll back on this timeline, weirdo? I don't know. I think on the app it shows you related things to something that you might have looked at. And so I don't know how they came across her post or why they would have read it or whatever, but they come back. Lorraine says, because I am just seeing your post, retard. So then Tinder Gal says, still weird, get a life. Still weird to read random things. You do it all the time. We just saw 3 examples of you doing that. Lorraine says, I have a life and work full time. Someone might see your post a year from now and comment. You posted on social media. Don't you know how social media works? So then Tinder Gal, who again posts constantly. I've never been shown old posts. Lucky you. So I don't know what's wrong with your algorithm. So it's still kind of creepy, but on your end. Okay. I guess that but is an extra word that's not necessary there. Go spend time with your loved ones. What are you doing with your life? This is someone who wants followers left and right and tries anything she can to get negative attention if she can't get positive attention. But I'm sure this woman has more loved ones than you still, because we already know that you're a spinster. So she says, I've been an RN for 37 years with a bachelor's and a minor in biology and psychology. I do this. In a worldwide medical center. What are you doing with your life? Okay, the dangerous thing to ask her that rhetorically, because don't worry, she'll typically give you her resume plenty. Although this time she doesn't for some reason. Usually she loves to get in a pissing contest and tell everybody how much money she makes working for this corrupt organization that commits consumer fraud that she denies, that she is, again, complicit with. Still no loving husband or family much, though. Yep, call me a loser. And dope smoking, blah, 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 somehow, succeeds at this job where it's the patriarchy and her boss hates her or whatever. But yeah, she'll mention her career and her salary and skip the part about how she's worried every day that she's going to get replaced by AI, even if she's not as worried about an industry collapse. Although, did I mention at the beginning? I think I forgot. Bumble apparently is up for sale now. And as far as I know, nobody wants it. It's been a couple weeks and I haven't heard anything. So maybe they're all going to lose their jobs first, but could start a trend. Fingers crossed. So yeah, supposedly this is, proof of her worth because she has money in the bank, but she still can't attract a decent quality man with all this money and with this great job. And to save her life, she still can't have a family. And then, again, in the previous episode, saying she wants to be a lesbo anyway. Again, nobody's stopping you. So then, and then ATM says she wants to be a cougar for the younger men because trying to be a gold digger was just too gross when she was younger. Well, you're not that young anymore, for one thing. And two, you're still a gold digger, and that still makes you a 304 if you're, again, just using men for free dinners. So Lorraine came back and said, I see post and respond accordingly. I don't pay attention to when it was posted. If it's irrelevant, take it down. So, of course, she probably hasn't and probably won't because she stands by her dumb political crap that I'm not going to read. Okay. Related. I know this is already long and we're maybe halfway through. I don't know. There was another post about some dumb thing. I don't know what it was about. Okay. Insufferable post. Don't know. More like narcissist response. Yada, yada. Okay. But another Chad coming out of the woodwork to try and get a date with her, I guess, and kissing her butt, even though he's in a different state. So that puts him out of the loop. And there was another guy that she, was dangling it for. Come to California. Okay. As soon as he gets here, you'll be upset that he doesn't get a job that pays enough. So I don't know why you're leading him on. So skipping ahead. We're not going to go into this. It's all stuff about due process and whatnot, which, of course, leftists don't believe in. They hate our Constitution and our justice system and everything else, whatever. But yeah, again, not going to go into all this politics and whatnot. Oh, so yeah, here it was. This guy says, he says, why am I still single? Nobody's ever going to love me like the crazy girl in the movie, because she had talked about this movie before. And so she says, never say never, and puts a little demon picture. So if maybe she's intending to ruin his life if he can just get himself here, and false hope from this liar who will chew you up and spit you out probably. But he's more interested in her making introductions, it sounds like. So I don't know. She says plenty of crazy in LA, and clearly no argument here. They don't think this guy could handle any of them. There was a bit about, again, I don't know if these guys are, actually straight or just joking or what. But again, as we talked about in a previous episode, if she was so great at playing matchmaker, why does she have all these single women friends who also just can't seem to find a good quality man? You know how to write the best dating app profiles, and there's way more men than women on these dating apps. So why aren't your single women friends succeeding any more than you are with your tutelage in their back pocket, right? Most guys can barely handle normal women without seeking out extra crazy ones like her. And she's already a ravenous, easy kind of woman anyway. Just complaining about men can't properly go down on her the previous week. Gonna be on talk complaining about this closet case guy before she even kicks him out of bed in the morning. Likely has, if she would even take him there. She's selective enough when it suits her. But she says she has a soft spot for inept geeks and, and the creatives that she also says she hates if they're, too conservative or whatever. Then they become incels. But, this guy is literally boasting about being an incel, and she's buttering him up for some reason just to watch him squirm or get rejected and die or something. I don't know. But then she comes in trying to sound even-handed or whatever and says, also, though, I've had relationships where both of us were very possessive people. And every time the guy is somebody who has abandonment issues with his mother. It's a psychological fact. So this is very revealing about you. Oh, it's very revealing about him, even though he didn't say anything about his mother or being rejected or abandoned, I don't think. He was just saying that he was joking that he wanted a girl who like the one in the movie, haha, you know. So what does it say about you? It's not your mother who's abandoned you. I don't know. So yeah, what's her excuse? I don't know. She's already dumped him before he's even gotten here. If he was thinking he was going to get a date, I guess. And then post more crap about the kind of men who just can't satisfy her, which apparently is none of them. Fine. So then this was back to finances, this bit about starter homes. I might have covered this already. We're only at 46 minutes, so we should be just about done. I don't think I read this before. Okay, well, okay, a couple more bits, and then we'll call it a day. Oh, here's the bit about the Supergirl movie. Okay. So that is in here. So, yeah, okay, this was a meme about cheaper housing prices, and the guy was probably another left-wing bot, but for some reason she took offense at their post or didn't understand the post or whatever. These starter homes are only, I don't know, $57,500 or $500,000 basically. Anyone working a basic job making $150,000 a year can afford this. Why don't young people want to buy these? And so in the photo, I guess the hint was that they're all too ugly and all the same and not in the glamorous city or whatever. So she, I don't know, something about glass ceilings and her arguing about, can't understand why people find feminism bad. Yes, it is. And so why she's alone, I don't know. Why am I still alone? Yeah, I don't know why. Sorry, this is all jammed together. Oh, right. She was promoting the anti-trad wife thing. I'm not going to go into all that now here. That was in the last video with the Alexander Grace talking about the whole thing. But again, these are childless women with no families, no fulfillment. So, gee, what to choose? Where did the comment go? I don't know. I guess it got saved here out of order, so I'll have to just wing it. Something got jammed into the middle of the actual thread. Oh, here it is. That's the problem when you cut and paste stuff in a hurry. Okay. But yeah, she thinks she's still young, and the same as these college-age people that he's talking about, I guess. My job is physically tied to living in Los Angeles and commuting to an office. I can't just back up and move far away from the city. Well, for those of you who don't live in Los Angeles, like the city is like 300 miles or something anyway, so there's no, it's all one big urban sprawl at this point. I mean, yeah, some of it's more suburban than other parts, but it's not quite. Most of it is not quite the photo that looks more like that old kind of Levittown development or whatever. But yeah, with any luck, your job will end soon enough for one reason or another. And like I said, maybe it'll go the way of the Bumble. And in this crap market with no takers and yada, yada, yada. So now I got to go back up. So, okay. But anyway, so the bit about the movie. Sorry, I'm just like, that was another Alex Grace part. So, so this other guy had said the movie got bashed online by the lonely incels who have a problem with it. I guess that's the people who buy most of the movie tickets. So yeah, make a movie they want to watch, or they won't show up. Feel free to buy $1 billion of movie tickets and help the movie make money if you feel that strongly that it was good. Nobody's stopping you. Go see it 3,600,000 times and the next week before it leaves the theater, I guess. But yeah, again, I probably know way more about film than this person too. Woke plot supposed to fix the crap movie and bad cast. Probably not. What they actually bash online is plenty of other reasons besides the plot. In fact, I haven't heard anybody mention the plot really for why they don't want to see it. Critical Drinker already covered it, talking about how the character is unlikable and how the setup is this and that. And then he said he was going to watch it on the plane and do a real review, so I haven't seen that yet. So I'm not going to go into it here. See his thing and see if you agree with it. Like, I haven't seen the movie. I'm not going to see the movie, not just because the girl isn't Sydney Sweeney, because I don't even think Sydney Sweeney is necessarily that pretty, but definitely a much more Jessica Rabbit feminine figure. So Tinder Gal's reply, dude, what creeps? No comma after dude. Right. It's only because they're creeps. It's because they don't like that specific actress for her literally not, again, you didn't cast Woody Allen or Leslie, what's his name? Wallace Shawn or, sorry, not Leslie, John Lovitz to play Superman. Nobody would have gone to see those movies. I'm feeling nauseous, but it's not kryptonite. I swear, it's something I ate. It'd be all right. I'm gonna go save Manhattan now. Sorry, Metropolis. Give me a break. So yeah, gaslight all the male movie fans who know better than to pay to see crap that they don't want to see. The superhero movies are dying anyway, and the DC ones were never as popular as some of the Marvel ones or what. I don't know all the stats. Although, again, Superman being a franchise that you could count on, but okay, Drinker pointing out that if they had introduced this movie as a sub-movie from the other movie, it would have made more sense and would have had more of a flow-through of natural people thinking, okay, I kind of liked where that was going. I want to see this character and how this plot, as opposed to, hey, here's a character that you should love. Nah. So yeah, his lazy argument, and she agrees. Fine, go marry him then already too, since you like kissing your butt. Yeah, they must be incel if they like superhero movies in the first place, I guess. I don't know what exactly an incel is. From what I'm seeing, most of these guys are becoming voluntarily celibate, not the other way around, because again, taking a woman like you to a movie would be the longest 2 hours of your life that you could never escape. These people, their personal lives is, having relations with literal 304s and then complaining that marriage is bogus. But Tinder Gal is still the one Democrat apparently in the whole country who thinks that marriage is a thing. Can't seem to find another one. Or they're all atheists and they hate the fact that she calls herself religious, even though her idea of religion is basically a joke. Okay, job tied to LA. We read that. Okay, so Alex Grace. Oh, here was 2 comments, not from Tinder Gal, but on the subject. Patrick had said, the male loneliness problem is not a thing. We are on our own since the day we are born. It is literally drilled into us from our earliest memories. It is just a phrase women made up to explain why men don't want to date them anymore. Yeah. The ones on TikTok screaming for sure, like the blonde gal and this gal and the other gal that she was agreeing with a minute ago. Exactly. So then women with a maid whom expect husband to do half the chores. Yeah, which chores? Isn't your maid already do your chores? We know Tinder Gal has a maid. She can afford it. She doesn't vacuum her own carpet or anything, or wash her own dishes probably half the time. Then Plo said, couples therapy was a scam, was the bit of this. Women sacrifice their family for happiness, and men sacrifice their happiness for their family. Kind of a generalization. There are generalities or whatever. Ativi, I can't even read that. I take you for my lawful wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, for sickness and health, until you not being happy do us part. Yeah, exactly. Especially if she's never happy because nothing's ever good enough because she's bipolar and da-da-da. So the cute pudgy gal accusing men of, this was the girl at the end of the video. She was some kind of Hispanic gal in I couldn't tell if it was a Vegas show or a heritage parade, but some kind of headdress or whatever. Perfect example of toxic people who accuse men of being toxic. Fast forward to the talk video where she's 10 years older and just can't seem to find a good quality man who wants to marry her. Exactly, because this gal's in her 20s and telling everybody why she's a feminist. So then Lazar says, I really don't know if they believe whatever they are saying or they are just mimicking what other women have told them to say from a social brainwashing. In my opinion, men have and always look for a traditional woman for marriage. Loyalty, respect, unity, honor in family are the lifeline of any social values. Personally, if women aren't happy with men, ? They can go be miserable on their own. Just saying, fire, fire, fire. I think those are fire. Or maybe that's shrugs. I can't tell. These things are so small in this document. Yeah. Then there's a bit about her theater stuff. Here it was. Okay, picking at that scab for years for her performances and such for 15 years, and I am beyond ready to just let it go. Yeah, she said I was going to let it go last year. I already covered this. And hasn't happened. I've been ready, but it's been incredibly overdue. No, really? Noted. You said that a year ago and still haven't changed anything and probably won't. Because then you won't have anything to post about, even less than you've been posting lately, which was kind of surprisingly minimal. But yeah, Noi thing, loser. My money is on the guys going for the trad wives instead of you or whatever joke. Desperation. Oh, she was bored on a Sunday night, and so posting a bunch of crap for a change for a while. It says, love is where you find it. Listen to your heart. Yeah, that's worked out so well for you so far. Your heart has shit for brains, as the guy says in the movie, right? So then this guy says, I'm not going to read this part. More false bravado. Maybe I'll save that for another time. Like I said, we're running long enough. But then there was here it is. This guy came in and he was some transvestite or transsexual or something who says, Proud of you for working through these traumas to a point you are ready to let them go. She's not ready to let them go. She hasn't worked through anything. And neither of you, obviously, or you wouldn't be a cross-dressing weirdo loser. So that's not what she's done at all, and not what you've done at all. And she said she'd let it go and hasn't done that yet, again, a year ago. She's just trying to monetize this crap that is mostly, again, lies and hypocrisy and yada, yada, yada. Somehow this person has 4,000 followers as well. I can't figure out how these people have more followers than I do, but I guess I started late on social media, and crap flocks together. So yeah, hoping that Hollywood will collapse and take all these people with it, but I'm sure her ex-husband owes her a royalty by now for how much she talks about it or posts about it, if she makes any money off this nonsense. So of course she hearted this loser's comment, which again is the blind leading the stupid, or vice versa, or the stupid leading the blind, however you want to parse that out. Yeah. But then here was a more conservative gal, I think, who was talking about Taylor Swift wedding. Llama, maybe? I don't know. True, but this was kind of a weird take. There was a couple weird takes. The other one I skipped, about the gal who said men don't read books or something. And that her other point was valid, and then they got into an argument, and the other gal told her how toxic she was, and Tinder gal couldn't accept that or believe it or whatever. But this was a different bit. I don't know where that bit went. Truly, no offense, but being a 30-plus-year-old bride is so embarrassing. Catch me signing my marriage license and my AARP subscription in the same day. Haha. So this one trying to be funny, and Tinder gal gets all upset, and again goes out of her way to comment on it that only other weirdos do, not her. You're also going to be 30 plus one day. Be careful. Your husband might leave you for a 20-year-old just out of karma for being like this. Laugh till cry emoji. Well, your husband didn't leave. You couldn't get rid of him. That was the 8-year divorce or something. So she should be so lucky, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. I don't know. I'm over 30. Why you don't want to marry me already, I guess. Something, I don't know. I was trying to make a joke. Yeah, because again, more hypothetical bullcrap, which is all you get from her in these hyperboles and things. Most traditional men still die before their wives rather than leave them for younger, prettier ones. But again, also an Alex Grace video just the same week as whatever this was, wherein the hypergamous gal still blames the top 1% for keeping her husband down, whilst also blaming her husband for not being the top 1% and not being a high-earning provider man again. So no matter what he makes, any money above the poverty line will never be enough to satisfy her, because she really just wants an ATM. And again, the age thing, obviously Tinder gal is well over 10 years older than this other person. And so the other person is kind of being dumb, and yeah, I don't know what what's that word? Hubris, for, trying to act like they're definitely going to be able to lock down a man before a certain age. Well, yeah, okay, you might not, but you probably won't end up as bitter as this one, because you probably have, again, more conservative standards, which means your avenue for finding a man has wider parameters than the 6'2" in finance makes more than me guy and all that crap. We'll see. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about this person. The other argument I thought was funnier, but it doesn't seem to be here. I don't know where I put it. Let's see. So which level of narcissist she stays at for years? Oh, this is from a few weeks. I guess I didn't read this one before. Mary, I think that's what this word is. Why does it feel like every girl has to unlock the narcissist, the avoidant, and the warlock? I guess in a man, these are bad traits in men that they keep finding. I don't know what a warlock means exactly. Before the healthy relationship, but all these women call themselves witches and goth witches and swamp witches and crap now. So the men aren't supposed to be the warlocks, but they are supposed to be the spirit fairies or some shit. So what level are y'all on? I don't know if she's attracted. I guess that's aimed at women to answer that question. I don't know. Most of them stay at the same level for years. Like I said, this one says finally after 15 years she's going to let go of her trauma. Okay, we'll see. I don't know. I shouldn't seem to leave a response to that, or I have it in the wrong place. Let's see. Repost lie after she posts talk vid about men's body age. Men aging, I guess. So this is Winter posted this, not Tinder gal. A core tenet of the manosphere is that women are always lying about everything. Well, I've never said that, but we're seeing plenty of them unfold right before our eyes as we read this. So, okay, here we're back to the beginning again. That, again, is out of sequence. Women only want muscular rich men. Okay, nobody said they only want that, but again, we see what they date or what they claim they want to date on their profiles. It's not a big mystery here. No, we don't. We don't even like the bodybuilder look. And then quotes, I guess this is supposed to be an argument. You're lying. I'm alone, and it's because I'm not a bodybuilder. So this is the stuff that men are supposedly saying. Excuse me. Women only want rich okay, so they didn't put man, female. Okay, so the first one is a man says this. Then the second one is no, we don't. We don't even like the bodybuilder look, which is obviously not true. Women love the bodybuilder look, or hunky guys would all be single. Then the man comes back and says, you're lying. I'm alone, and it's because I'm not a bodybuilder. So he's not taking accountability. Back to that. Yeah. No, because you're not a bodybuilding ATM wallet, more like. Yeah. So yeah, again, more of this toxic nonsense. So again, these are the people who work for these dating apps who don't even believe what's going on the dating apps. So then critically says, you'll hear women say, I like his biceps, I like his shoulders, I like his pecs. You'll never hear a woman say, I like his glutes. Gym influencers encouraging men to train glutes are trying to feminize men. Then Sam says, yeah, because persistent lower back pain is real masculine. Then Critical comes and says, that's what ab training is for. It fixes lower back pain while looking masculine. A flat butt has always been described as masculine. Then finally, Tinder gal comes in. Okay. You've never seen a flat butt naked before, then I don't need an icky turtle butt on a man. Classy. So the physical features are important to you then? You're not, you don't insist that he has to be 6 foot something, but he can't have a flat butt, obviously. Or if he does, it's an ick. I like the muscle. It's athletic. Basketball players and baseball players usually have really nice glutes. Ha, 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 emoji, emoji, emoji. They just come, I think that's laugh emojis, I'm not sure. They just come from doing sports. Stop being jealous of athletically talented men. We already know you're easy and want to date everybody. Thanks for that, I guess. Then she grows a tummy and insists that the men have to be svelte or have the nice butt and be athletic. So again, the hypocrite, hypergamist loser who can't find a decent man to save her life. But I think the baseball players and some of the other guys actually have big butts that look terrible. So I don't know. I don't date men. So, but they also apparently don't want to date her either. If they are in sports, they think she's old and weird. And probably an alcoholic or whatever else. Or too bipolar to get entangled. Then she says her glutes are a great place to rest my feet when, so this is trying to get these incels interested in her, I guess, and fails because nobody comments at all. Response that she wants it missionary, I guess. So then Olegun says, I don't know if this is a separate comment on the same thread. I think so. High value men earn $1 million per year. They don't date fat women. They don't care about your PhD degree and 6 figures. They're attracted to very attractive, educated submissives and highly intelligent women. Okay, again, I don't know that's entirely true, but obviously none has come to sweep her off her feet. So she gaslights him back. We get it. You're bi-curious because here she's bored on a Friday night and it's not midnight yet, and she's home typing at this crap. So maybe she'll grow a real argument someday. I don't know. We can hope. We get it. You have no loving husband. You're a lonely spinster loser. And so then this, oh my God, still going. This is a different, some bit about religion, but she didn't get married in a church either. So she's being hypocritical again about religion. So I don't want to get into all this. Okay, yeah, we can skip that. Oh, here it is, the final bit. The final bit. Okay, that I couldn't find before. That was not Tanya, though. That was somebody else. She admits openly that she would go to places where she knew there might be wealthy men to, try to snare. Basically, he says that, that's what led her to her career, was deciding that she just couldn't, justify sleeping with them. But again, her strategy hasn't changed. She's just lowered her demographic age, basically looking for the same thing. And then so Save says, I don't know, lots of folks in the tech field are going back the other way. I'm not sure what that means exactly. She hearts this the next day. So I guess there's hope for her to find a tech bro is the point of that. I'm not sure. Or I really don't know what that has to do with that. But again, we have just literal confirmation that we don't know how far she went with this lifestyle, but pretty far. And so clearly not someone who really, really, really values, true relationships and true commitments as much as they claim. Again, thinks a long relationship is 6 months. So that's, about how long they take to disintegrate before one of the two gets sick of her or she finds their butt unappealing. I assume those are the shorter relationships than the longer ones. After she already sleeps with them, because otherwise, how would you know what their butt looks like? So where's the body count? 40, 50? We have no idea. Only 2 simp comments there so far. Trash can always find. Yeah, some guys will put it in anything. He'll pay for a gross woman and accept less always anyways. I forget what is going on here. It was something she posted, and then someone came and asked if she had seen the post. So that was kind of funny. I don't know if they were clueless or just trying to be funny. But another guy probably just trying to get a date. Okay, so have you seen the video of the guy who tells the girl if she's not sleeping with him, he's not paying for dinner? That was a bit too much for me. I think I denounced my membership to the male gender. Feel free. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, and of course she, loved this response or whatever. But again, that's removing probably a bunch of the context. This girl's probably been stringing the guy along, and he, finally figured it. I don't know, the whole thing. But again, it's one of those things that's edited to make the man look bad, even though this woman tells us she literally used to go to places to do this and then pretends that no other women would ever do that. Okay, I totally believe you. So, yeah, she's maybe the only easy woman that won't get with him yet, or maybe they already have. I don't know. who knows how many of these guys that she feels bad for and then gets together after they give her these simpy comments. But, you know, winning fake awards from garbage people just proves you're the best of the worst. Like I already said, sell out. What is this? Oh, overhyped fake celebrity wannabe. Right, for the roster and all that. Okay. And this was the thing from the last. Yeah, I wasn't going to go into this. Cries because mom not there, but parents told her not to go through with it. Opposite of the shotgun wedding. Not pregnant, dad not forcing this. Wants opposite outcome of what she stays single. So yeah, okay. This was what I talked about in the last episode about the opposite of real traditional women. They want to pretend they're oppressed, but really just working class with bad taste in men. Alex Grace video comments. Lots of times when I hear about something, it turns out to be, okay, yeah, this was from the last video. Follows on talk. Oh, okay, that's just more of that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's the last bit. And yeah, this has been more than long enough, longer than I thought it would be. Straight men find you repellent and run away. Oh yeah, she's probably going to be doing drugs with this guy and calling it a success. The used chewing gum analogy, I forget if I read that, but I think I did. Blaming the audience again for having taste. Yeah. Same as crap movie actresses now. Solid plan. Oh, you're just someone who goes mainstream, and that is dork AF, is her response to this guy who doesn't want to see crap. Where's his? Oh, never mind. He says, never heard it, but they were right about it being terrible or something. Yeah, off the meds already, apparently. Don't know. Tells the guy not to go see the show. Yeah, they won't. So most people who are sane on the planet with half a brain aren't going to put money into crappy entertainment. You have better things to do with their 2 hours. Born Catholic sinner versus piece of crap, or just raised that way. Yeah, I think I read that in the last one. He gets used and dumped only. Lifestyle argument that depends upon the guys and gal. Many that want brawn over brain still, but then get the broke guy in jail and the codependent. This was some meme about the money flex. Then this. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure this was from the last episode. I think this was about. Yeah, this was about how she's recommending these guys to her girlfriends and all. Okay, so that's enough. Yeah, literally. Sorry that I was reading and waffling and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, as always, you can add any questions to the comments. The two of you who liked this, thanks for tuning in for however long you could stand it. I know this wasn't the exciting episode, like episode 3 or 4 or whatever it was. And of course, as always, boycott Tinder. That's the whole point of this. I don't need to give you the whole spiel now. And of course, the buy me a coffee app or buy me pizza or buy me some boots or whatever.